Welcome, beloveds. Welcome to a moment of deliciousness, Miraculi University. I am Mastarius Miraculi, and I am here with a very powerful message today. I have a mantra for you. And this mantra I encourage you to do 144 times every day. And the mantra is, I am so in love with me. I am so in love with me. I want you to say that for yourself. You know, we have a lot of love that moves out, and there's a difference, for example, when I say, I love me, or even when I say, I love you. It is as if the love is having to move from one place to another. But if I say, I am in love with me, I am so in love with me, that's a reality that exists already. I am inside of something. When I say I love, there can be an element of outwardness to that. But when I say I am in love, that's a deeper frequency, which, I'm sure that many of you have heard people that say, I love them, but I'm not in love with them. Or I love you, but I'm not in love with you. So the being in love with is a deeper reality. For a very long time, I've had big love for myself, and I have been in the resonance of I love me. And there is great power in that. And then I discovered when I began to say, I am so in love with me, I began to experience this resonance of self-love at a deeper level. It's deeper to be inside of something. Let your mantra be 144 times a day. I am so in love with me. You see, there's a certain element of safety when you're in love with yourself. You see, you won't be in the fear of loss because you can't call it quits on yourself. You can try, but in truth, you can never get away from you. So there's no fear that you're going to lose this love, because the resonance of who you are as your own being is always going to be there with you. No matter where you go, you're going to always find yourself there. Let your mantra be, I am so in love with me. You want to have the kind of love for yourself that you get weak in the knees when you think about yourself. You know, we do that for other beloveds that we fall in love with. You know, we think about them and we get weak in the knees. So when was the last time that you got weak in the knees for yourself? When was the last time that you made Google eyes at you, at your own being? And you want to be able to feel such a deep resonance of being in love with you that you think about yourself and you get wet and just tingle all over yourself. You see, there's a power in that because you're then training life and you're training the universe how it is that you want to be loved by all of the beloveds who are out there. Because you can't lead where you won't go, and the mirror won't reflect what you don't show. However it is that you're wanting to be loved by others, you got to love yourself that way first. Let your mantra be, I am so in love with me. The beautiful thing about it is that when you offer it in that way, it becomes a habit. Before you know it, you won't even think about it, and you'll hear a voice inside of you saying, I am so in love with me. You see, self-love is a universal default. That's the resonance that was set from the beginningless beginning. So it isn't even something that we have to activate or do. It's always there. Self-love is co-eternal with God. Self-love is always happening. When I say I am so in love with me, what I'm actually doing is allowing myself to come into alignment with the universal default of self-love. Just like on our computer, we have a default browser. That whenever we open our computer, that's the browser that it goes to. But you have the power to do what? Change the default. So many of us have changed the default from self-love to self-loathing, self-hatred, self-disregard. But all we need to do is realign with the universal default, which is self-love. Self-love is always going on. Self-love is something that I don't have to do, but rather just allow myself to be in the stream of that reality. It is a universal frequency, and it's not really a case of your self-love and my self-love and his or her self-love. Self-love is a universal frequency, and we all partake of that frequency based upon our own individual level of evolvement. The more evolved we are, the more deliciously we can connect with this resonance of self-love, the bigger piece of cake we can slice off of this cake of self-love. You see, some can only get a little slice, when there's not the bigger resonance. So you let love love you, or you allow love to have its way with you. Let your mantra be, I am so in love with me. Say that, beloved. I am so in love with me. I am so in love with me. And when you say that, every cell within your being begins to vibrate with that. The more you say, I am so in love with me, the more bliss becomes a natural activation within your being. Bliss is co-eternal with God. Bliss is always there. All we have to do is turn our channel to the channel of bliss. Turn the dial to bliss 0.101. And the next thing you know, we're in this deep resonance of the vibration of bliss. Being in love with self brings about a natural resonance and activation of the bliss wave. Blissstafari, Juicestafari. When you're so in love with you, you also come into the resonance with your juice, the creative juices of life. Blissstafari, Juicestafari. Be a Juicestafarian and a Blissstafarian, because that is your nature. That is my nature. It was always meant to be that way. So we want to be at resonance with this vibration of being so in love with self. You allow. You know, you might want to send yourself some flowers. Put a voice message on your phone expressing how much you love you. You know, write a love letter to yourself. The more you're practicing the frequency of this vibration of love, the bigger the love is going to be that returns to you from those who circle into your life. We all want to be loved by others. You know, we've been in that vibration. It's been a very, very strong thing. I want this love from this or that beloved. But you got to give it to yourself first. Can't lead where you won't go, and the mirror won't reflect what you don't show. So however it is that you're wanting to be loved, love yourself that way first. That's how it's done. I wrote a poem which is a tribute to the most forgotten loved one, which is self. And it's in my book, Miraculi, Song of Ascension. But this poem I call I Do Take Me, where I say, I love myself with all my heart. Eternal knowing God impart. No more hatred, no more pain. Legacy of heaven, mine to claim. Once I really hated me. A self-induced catastrophe. Others begin to hate me too. Hate's reflection became my due. When I look in any mirror, each reflection is my own. If I dislike that which I am, rejection by others will be shown. In self-acceptance, let me grow. To hereby let all others know. I want them to accept me too. They only follow what I do. I ask myself to marry me, to thus fulfill my destiny. I promise always to be true, self-love and honor I am due. Sweet self, I'm sorry for the pain. Forgive and love me once again. I want me for eternity, a better lover than to be. Now every bond is sweeter too, for loving me is loving you. Within the temple of heaven's house, I do take me to be my spouse. Say it, beloved. Within the temple of heaven's house, I do take me to be my spouse. And there's that statement where I said, once I really hated me, a self-induced catastrophe. And then others begin to hate me too. Hate's reflection became my due. What we put out is what we attract. When I look in any mirror, each reflection is my own. If I dislike that which I am, rejection by others will be shown. You see, sweet self, I'm sorry for the pain. Forgive and love me once again. I want me for eternity, a better lover than to be. Sometimes it's important to apologize to self for the moments wherein we withheld love from self. Apologize to yourself if there was an unkindness that you extended toward you. And that apology will then become a stimulus for a magnetic field that then attracts a greater measure of love, a greater measure of fulfillment into your life. Allow love to love you. Marry yourself. And recognize that you are a part of every being. And any being anywhere who is in the resonance of loving themselves is also you loving you. So own the self-love that you witness in the whole of life, in the whole of the universe, because that too is you loving you, because you are a cellular counterpart within every being. So own all of the love. I mean, what it takes to truly love self is to be in the oneness of the wholeness of self, which constitutes the self that is the whole universe. And you are your own version of the whole universe. So let me just offer a little frequency of the didgeridoo here. Let's see how it's going to come through. Sometimes technology can be strange, but I feel like I just want to offer some of this vibration. This is for the deepening expansion of this frequency of self-love. Thanks and praise to the tribal Aborigines of Australia for being the tribal vessel through which the didgeridoo has found its way into our world. So vibrate with this message, beloved, and go deeper and deeper, and let your mantra be, I am so in love with me. You know, make a commitment to say that in your mind or out loud 144 times a day, and watch what happens in your life. I am Astarius Miraculi. I love you so much. My website is astarius.com, ASTARIUS.com. I've got a number of CDs and a couple of books. There's sound clips where you can hear, sound clips on everything, about 19 CDs to choose from now, which can be gotten through either the hard copy CD or digital downloads. All of that is available on my website, astarius.com, ASTARIUS.com. I'm also a psychic astrologer, and I do sound healing transmissions with the didgeridoo and vocal harmonics. I do this work in person if you happen to be in the Phoenix, Arizona area, which is where I am. Also, you might be passing through Phoenix on your way to Sedona, and you can come and see me on the way in or on the way out. And also, I do amazing work by Skype, so it doesn't matter where you are in the world. We can do some phenomenal work, and I'd love to serve and empower you in that way. It is amazing work. When I do these readings, I look at who you are at the core essence of your being. Look at the circumstances surrounding your life, your approach to the vibration of love, what patterns and what style you bring to relationship, no matter what relationship you're in, and what might be blockages surrounding that and how to clear those blockages. We look at how you use your mind through the planet Mercury. Venus tells us about, the love vibration. Mars, your pattern of desires, a little bit about your sexuality. Jupiter tells us about your philosophy in life. Saturn, your career. Also, I wanted to mention, too, that we have a full moon coming up in a couple of days. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this message. It's a full moon in Libra, which is the sign of relationship. But when the moon is full in Libra, the sun is in Aries, which is self, which is why I have strongly emphasized this vibration of I am so in love with me. So yeah, go and partake of all of those things available on my website. Also on my website, I have a donation button if you are in appreciation, that is, for the messages that I bring, and you want to offer a donation of appreciation. I have a donation button on there for that as well. And so many beloveds have done that. I thank you so much for all of you who have been kind and appreciative of this message enough so to give a little something back. So, aho, ashe, amen, namaste, hotep, and lakesh alakim, shalom, satnam, hariom. Our sacred juices are cooked in infinitely expanding juice to far eye. May you always have many miles on your smile, wiggle in your giggle, tingling in your boots, laughter ever after, putt in your strut, wings on your butt, always rising up at the top. There's room for all. It's just the bottom that's crowded, y'all. And so it is, and so it shall eternally be. I love you so much.